Hello, welcome to LLG's Random But Real podcast, where you'll hear conversations about any and all things random with an entree, not a side dish, of mental health advocacy. I use my performance, communication, and literary art skills to bring awareness about mental health and other topics. Therefore, whether I'm singing, speaking, or writing, it is my desire that my words will be melodic, just like music to your ears. Welcome to LLG. That's me, Lisa L. Gilliam's Random But Real podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of LLG Random But Real, or LLG's Random But Real, where we have conversations about any and all things random with the entree, not a side dish, of mental health advocacy. If you've been listening, you know I use my performance, communication, and literary art skills to bring awareness about mental health and other topics. Therefore, whether I am singing, speaking, or writing, it is my desire that my words be melodic, just like music to your ears. You all, we have had so many technical difficulties tonight, so please excuse us. I'm not sure why there's background, so I guess maybe Tracy, you might have to mute when I'm talking. But I am happy to have my guest on this show tonight. We do pre-record, but as you know, it's nothing I really can do to get rid of the background noise. But we're going to try to work through it. Tracy M. Worley is my friend. We have known each other since high school, just only a few years ago. That's not the truth, but just pretend it is. And we have decided to write a book together, which we talked about briefly with our publisher, Journal Joy. We're wishing you well as we're doing this show, Journal Joy. Shout out to Lamira. And we just wanted to talk to you a little bit more about like what our experience has been. You're gonna have to get the book to get some details, but we definitely want to like tell you what our experience has been, what we're looking forward to, what we're not looking forward to, just to go a little bit deeper. And Tracy and I have decided to have conversations like this here and there, not like I said, giving you away what we talk about in the book, but definitely talking about just all things random. Sometimes things associated with the book, sometimes not. So I am going to say hello to Tracy. Hey, Tracy.
Hello, hello, hello. Are I tell you, this has been interesting.
Yes, it almost makes you feel like we're not supposed to record nothing
I
because
think in
ooh,
well, I thought about it. I said, well, we're just gonna, we're gonna get this. Is gonna work, and it's kind of symbolic of some of what we've been going through here lately with a number of different things. So sometimes there's some hiccups to get to where we need to go. So it's all right.
absolutely. So that probably means y'all are in for a ride. That's what that means. So yeah, so speaking of hiccups, we were supposed to, launch our book 21 days, and there's a tagline, which I should know by heart, but right now I don't. It's seeing that I literally just got off of work not even an hour ago, and so I was supposed to get off maybe 3 hours ago. So it's been a long day, but I know our focus is just, making sure that other people heal. I've always said I had a ministry where I share my business so other people could be healed. I don't want you to make some of the same stupid, dumb mistakes that I've made, and I've made plenty. And some of them weren't even mistakes. Some of them were things that I did and I knew I shouldn't have done. And then other things were things I did and I found myself in and did not ever plan on that experience. But the book was supposed to come out on September 21st and then October 4th. And we've had setback after setback, but it is coming out. Like the book is finished, y'all. We didn't make it up. It really is a real book coming. And we are excited to bring it to you when we actually have release date. Anything you want to say about that, Tracy?
No, no, I mean, it's just one of those things, and I so appreciate all of the support and all of the people that have been cheering us on along the way. Family, friends,
Yeah.
um, associates, acquaintances, everyone who has seen that we have this coming down the pike. people have been so kind and so supportive. And so, yet, when people say, I'm ready to buy the book, when's the book coming out? I don't know, but it's coming.
It
And so
is.
it's just one of those things where it just kind of draws me back to the word where it just says, be anxious for nothing. And so we have done this in prayer. It kind of got started that way. And
Right.
I just keep saying it's gonna be all right. It's gonna come when it's supposed to come. It's gonna
Uh-huh.
release exactly when it's supposed to be released. And it's gonna be a blessing to some that. So um I'm confident of that. I think that's one of the major things that we've talked about is that it's not so much about us sharing our story to just air out, our
Dirty
laundry, so to
laundry.
speak,
Right.
because my laundry, I have laundry to do right now, and it's not too bad. It's not too bad, but there's some, things that need to be taken care of, and things
Right.
that, we acknowledge, and often, when you are being real and you're being very transparent, as you talk about random or real, just keeping things really 100.
Hmm.
Some folks gonna be able to handle it and some can't. And for those who can and those who are brave enough
Yeah, right. To get on the train.
to actually embark on the journey and to actually listen, listen to the stories, and actually put yourself in the place of the storyteller. Um, it can be life changing for people, I think, in a positive way, when you really start to look around and realize, hey, wait a minute, I'm not alone in this. I'm not by myself. Somebody else has gone through something similar. Somebody else
Mhm.
has done something, I'm not the only one.
Right. Right.
And
No,
that's
absolutely.
big. That's really big, especially now. And I know one of the things that you talk about, and one of the things that is very important to you is, mental health. And I
Hmm.
think sometimes just having that community and knowing that you have other people that you can reach out to that are understanding where you're coming from, and because they've done this before, they walked that walk, and
Or
it,
because they love you as an individual.
yeah, yeah,
Because some of my friends are not happy with what I've shared with them. I'll
hmm,
be honest. And
right,
some, probably some family too. So, but I know they love me. And so because they love me, they, I can't say they've been the most supportive, but
mm,
they've been cool. Like they haven't judged me and I appreciate that. And
right, yeah,
one of the things that I think I shared this with you the other day is that for me, God already knew what I was going to do, good, bad, or indifferent. Doesn't mean it's okay.
right,
Never justifying the wrong, um, that I did do. But because I was created by Him, He already knew everything that I was going to do. And I didn't think I would be in this place, but I'm here. And my hope is that me, or by me sharing my story, other people will be open enough. Like Tracy just said, it's not that other people haven't done it. I think it's just other people haven't have done it and not shared it because of
oh,
shame or fear, or just not people wanting to know your business. But I'm hoping that we can present a different perspective from
yeah,
two people that you probably wouldn't think would end up in the place that they were ending up. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Be
absolutely.
good girls.
It's about, it's really about grace. And I think it really comes down to grace. And, sometimes people, I'm grateful for those people who will show me grace through this. But what I'm grateful even more so is that I'm showing myself grace now. You're showing yourself grace. We have
Mhm.
to get to a place where I say, you know what? Somebody's going to always have something to say. Somebody's going to always feel a way about something. But what I'm learning is that when does Tracy get to a place where Tracy has peace
Mhm.
with all that has happened, and so that I can get to the place of healing and forgiving myself
Mhm.
for
Right.
either time spent too long in some situations, like the egg and hatched, and you got hatchlings and everything, and you still sitting there waiting for
Right.
something to hatch, and it's like time's up and you're still sitting. So that's part of, for me, at 40, 49, and 49 and a few months old, I'm really feeling that now because time has really become a factor. We talk about, those taglines, live my best life, living my best life. And one day I really sat and I thought about that thing and I said, living my best life. Am I living my best life? And that's
Mhm.
different for everybody. It's relative. It depends on what does that look like for you. How do I, start to enjoy my life right now? Not
Mhm.
waiting for somebody to show up because that's been a thing for me. Um, and we've talked a lot over the past year, especially, but we've talked even prior to
Right.
doing 21 days. But one of the things that I discovered through coaching, that's when it really became evident for me that I had been waiting for my life partner to show up so that I could start living.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh. Uh-oh. It really, it was like loud. I mean, it showed up really loud. It rang very loud in my ears that minute. I've been waiting for somebody else to show up for me to rescue me from my life so that I can start living and enjoying my
Mhm.
life. And that
Wow.
was oh so wrong. Oh so wrong. I had it wrong. So what I'm working on now is one, forgiving myself, and part of that is the healing journey. And then two, making sure that I don't make the same mistakes that I made in the past.
Mhm.
And part of that boils back down to going back, figuring out why did I allow some of the things to happen in my life that I allowed in the first place. And then so that I can get to the place where I'm beginning to say, okay, what can I do now? Things may not be all lined up the way that I want them to be right now, but
Mhm.
what can I start to dream for myself and what can I start making happen right now? What can I do right now?
Right. And
So,
so
yeah,
you got that figured out yet?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. It doesn't quite look like what I thought it would be like. I'm working on it. I'm working on it day by day.
Well,
Day by
that's good. Processing is good, and taking steps is good as well. So,
there's so many things, Lisa, and just even I did a lesson this past weekend on stewardship. And one of the things that we talked about is, initially when we talk about stewardship, we talk about, finances. We talk about, our tithes and our time and our talents and things like that. And I broke it down to go even further, like health. And I said, it was just really a wake up call for me that we only get this one body.
right.
This is it. This is it.
Mm.
And now, and I keep saying that 40, that 49 and some months is like ringing loud because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm almost 50. And so now I'm like, okay, so I have this one body. When you're younger, you think you can, I'm big enough, I'm bad enough, I can do what I want, I can eat what I want. If I don't feel like exercising, I had this theory that oh, at one point before weight was an issue for me, I was like, "Oh, I just buy a bigger size. I'll just buy a bigger size. It's okay. It's fine. They can. We can do it. We can still, make it happen and rock some stuff out."
Mm.
But, but then life happens, and all of a sudden, one day you look in the mirror and you don't even recognize yourself. And I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Right.
It's a number of different things, not just relationships, but just my relationship with myself and getting to the place where I have, joy. And
Mhm.
like you said, is it happening? It's happening. I feel it happening. Some things are shifting and some things are changing, but it is indeed a process, a slow process, a slow process. But I had to, really wake up one day and just realize this is the only body I get. So what are you going to do? Now you need to go to the gym. I haven't been to the gym this week. That's usually my weekend thing. But now having to get back, I was a little bit under the weather, so then I had to, now I have to get back, get back in the flow of that because I had developed that habit, that pattern, and now I'm like, oh, it's getting cold now. I like to get in the pool, and now I'm like, oh man, it's getting cold. So I'm like, I don't want to alter what I'm doing, but I'm gonna have to modify what I'm doing because now it's not the summertime. I can't throw on a dress and walk out and just go to the car. I have to think about, oh, now you got to wrap up, and then and so then my old self, she's still in there, and she wants to complain, and all of those things. So it's funny because I feel like I'm really getting to know myself. I think I've spent a large part of my life kind of coasting, still getting to know who I really am. What do I really like and what do I really want? And that
Mhm.
is mind blowing. It's mind blowing to me at almost 50 that I'm still trying to figure it out.
I don't think it takes much though to be stuck.
Hmm.
And I think it takes a lot of work to get out of that place.
Hmm.
But what bothers me probably is when people feel that just because they've gotten out of the place, you should be out of the place too.
Hmm.
So, like, I feel like encourage people to move forward and progress. What I used to do to celebrate life events about, um, mental health and, teaching people about the symptoms of depression or to prevent suicide, and talking about anxiety and PTSD and all things that I was diagnosed with,
Hmm.
acute stress. I got to a point where I said, I want to celebrate life and not just exist.
Hmm.
And I was existing for years, and I was telling actually one of my scholars that they happened to ask me, like, when my birthday was. We were just, talking. I love being able to spend my lunchtime with them, just getting to know them better.
Yeah.
And, one of them said something we were talking about birthdays, and they asked me my sign, and I don't really get into all that well, but we were talking about and they were like, "That's a good birthday." The other person's like, "Nah." And then he was telling me that I was like, "You too old to be wearing." It was a gift set that someone gave me. I don't even know who gave me. It was earrings and and a necklace. And he's like, "You shouldn't be wearing no tribal jewelry." It's not tribal jewelry, but that's what he called it. And I say all that to say we were talking about birthdays and talking, and so I actually shared with them. I was like, "No, I celebrate my birthday. Like, it's important to me because I remember when I didn't want to be here."
Hmm.
And I think that sometimes people separate what they tell scholars and what they don't tell them. I feel like if you keep it real to an extent, like, I didn't say any, you didn't hear me say any specific words,
Right.
but they're smart. They knew exactly what I meant.
Right.
And, I know that I have not shared that with the entire body of scholars. So if that meant if I hear it, I know it came from one of them. It was two of them that were around me. And they were like, I get that now. You know what I mean? Like, life is hard maybe for some of them, but it's been really, really hard for me too. And which is why I like working with non-traditional or alternative schools and people that need second, third, fourth, 50th chances. God has given me that many chances plus. So I think when it comes to our lives and then what we decided to share at the book in the book,
Hmm.
um, I hope that people are really open to hear and to be empathetic. I don't want your sympathy. I don't want to hear that you would never do da da da. That's great that you didn't have to do da da da. But I
Natural.
want you to understand how maybe I did end up doing da da da, or how that ended up being my coping mechanism when, yeah, it should be just Jesus. Absolutely right. And he still is my source. But it's funny, I'm to the point now, I don't think most people even know. I mean, I know you know that I was a minister because I was so ashamed of what I did that I didn't even want to do nothing anymore. Even before what I did happened, I had started cutting back from church. And that was really after my mom died. And she was saved, but I just started to have some, I don't know, social anxiety. I just didn't want to be around people. And then I ended up messing up or sinning, and that just exasperated it. And I didn't want to be around people even more. And I definitely didn't want to be preaching or teaching or whatever. But I know the word, it's in me. I know that I've been able to help so many other people in spite of me. So it's really interesting to see how people take this, their conversations.
Mhm.
And I ran into one of the people that was in the book, um,
Mhm.
you know, recently, and I let them know that they were in there. I wonder what they're going to think when they actually read what I put, because the one thing about writing things down for me is final. Like it's out there. And another thing about a book, it's can't really take it back. It's there. It's gonna be there forever and ever and ever. And
Uh,
so every time we had a hiccup, I'm kind of glad because it allowed me to catch some things and
mhm.
pull some things and change some things that were like, oh, I don't know if I really want that part out there. But it
Yeah.
also helped me to no longer live in secret because I've kept a lot of stuff
Mhm.
a secret, a lot of hurt a secret, a lot of pain a secret, as if my pain, my hurt, my whatever didn't matter. And so the book allowed me to express how I felt about what happened, but not necessarily pointing the finger. I don't think I pointed the finger at anybody. I just told facts. What do
No,
you think?
no. No, and after a while, it's like, what did I write? But it's like,
You,
yeah,
you wrote a
read it
lot.
a lot, multiple reads, multiple read throughs, so many times. But yet sometimes we'll be talking and you say, did I say that? Did I mention that?
Right,
Did
because
I
I don't
not?
remember. Right.
I can't, I can't recall. But no, I think that, yeah, the tone, I would say that the tone of it was really about experience. This is what I experienced. This
Right.
was my experience. Not so much about what somebody did to me.
Hmm.
That wasn't the angle at
Right.
all, for either of us in our sharing about what somebody did to me. It wasn't about that. It was, how did I end up in this place and how do I get out of this place? And in order to do that, we had to do some soul searching and some digging.
Right.
And with that, I mean, we live in the social media age. Everybody gets on social media, gets on live, tell all their business, the parts they want us to know about.
Right.
Um, and some people just bear all, and you take the bitter with the sweet, and we know that there'll be some bitter with it. Frankly, you know I always say, if you are without sin and you have not made one mistake in your life, well, God bless you. You are on your way to one, because there's a perfect. So, that may not be your thing right now. That may not be your jam. That might not have been your thing, but everybody's had something that they have had to struggle with, or that they've had some challenge with. And that's what I always go back to. But, for the grace of God, here we are.
Hmm.
So I always go back to that. But I know that that is one of the most challenging things about being candid and putting your life out there, and putting parts, I should say, or aspects of your life out there, and people still not getting the entire story. We don't have enough pages for that. but
Right.
um just giving snippets of the story, and being able to kind of piece some things together to kind of get to an understanding of why,
Hmm.
mm, perhaps how we got to where we are now. Um, and I always call it, I'm still writing, um, as well, and I call it, getting to the other side of through. Because when you're in that through period and you're going through, whoa, the valley is pretty. It's deep. It's deep, and I always say I want to get on the other side of through. I'm
Right.
so tired of going through, and it's from one aspect, like you've talked about losing your mom, and prior to that, losing your grandmom, and then your dad, and then all of those things make us who we are. We're whole beings. We're not just,
Hmm.
oh, Lisa the girlfriend, or Lisa this person, this part of you. It
Right.
all factors into who we are.
Right.
And sometimes why we attach to certain people, or our different attachment styles, and why we are the way that we are, and our makeup, our build. And I've put up with some stuff that people, I know some people with some slick cutoff games, man. They, whoo, whoo. people would not last. They would just be gone. But at some point in my life, I stayed in some relationships and put up with some stuff
Right.
that was just not healthy. And I didn't realize it at the time while it was happening. I didn't necessarily realize it for
Mhm.
what it was. Um I had a few people that didn't make the book. And a
I
couple
teased
of
her
people
about
that,
that, y'all. I'm like, she makes me look like I got 50 people and she got four.
well, I
It
only
is
had, I had 8 in my whole
well
life.
still. I'm like, you should have put all eight in.
But all 8 to me weren't newsworthy. They weren't newsworthy nor noteworthy because and we laugh about it sometimes because I'm like, some of these people like I had there was one person, yeah, he did he didn't make it. He didn't make it. So let's just say he was one and done, and I'll leave that there. And then and then the next person,
That's what y'all gonna do too. When you mine is all Solomon and Tracy's is funny. Like I was
right,
literally laughing when I was reading.
one and done, one and done. And then the other person, I didn't like the vibe I was catching. And I'll say that without going too deep, but it was yeah, it was like two and out. You know how you say 3 strikes you're out. He didn't get the 3 strikes. It was just two and out. I'm like, I don't like what I'm seeing here. And I was probably about 20. I was about 17 with one and then 20 with the other. So, by then I'm just kind of like, eh. And then the next person, he didn't last a month. It was a month. It was a month of, it was a whirlwind. And had I
Mhm.
just held on a little longer, I would have saw um the person that it took me going out with this person, and after going out with him and spending the day with him, I realized that I don't even like this person. Like, I don't even like you. I don't even want to be bothered with you. You are disgusting. And it was that bad. It was that bad. And God bless him. He's married now. God bless his wife. I mean, when you want to talk about a liar, it was one of the strangest, most um that I ended up dating the guy, my first boyfriend. We're talking, and somehow that guy, that 1 month guy, he
Mhm.
came up in conversation, and I'm like, how do you know him? And he said, oh, we went to breakfast. We all went to breakfast. The brothers, we were all hanging out, and he didn't have an he didn't have enough money to pay for his food, so I paid for his food. And I'm like, you pay? Oh my god! And I'm like, there is no way in the world that something like this, like, somebody somewhere is laughing at me, because my boyfriend at the time, he didn't even live here. He was here for the summer. So during that time, he met the guy that I had dealt with probably about 6 months prior, 6 to 8
Mhm.
months prior. And they ended up crossing paths. How weird is that?
Yeah.
So yeah, those three guys didn't make it to the pages. But I brought them up since you always say, you should have put them in there.
Yeah, cause they should. He should like for real, y'all. It looks like because mine spans pretty much high school to now, right?
Mm-mm.
Not maybe not today now. Well,
Yeah,
maybe a couple.
present day. Yeah,
Yeah, like but present day, but
adult.
like more like
Mm.
yeah, yes. So adult, yes.
But
So
see,
from
you.
high school to adult, but I do talk about things that happened to me when I was younger too.
Mm.
That all of this plays a part in kind of where I am now or how I got to where I am now.
But
So,
and but at the same time, in all fairness, when you think about it, like, remember I said I spent a lot of time. Like, I spent a lot of time in some of these situations.
mhm,
Um, I mean, like, years in some of them. So while you may have had, a boyfriend here, or this happened here and this happened there. I'm
I
still
don't know if
stuck.
they were
I'm still over there
boyfriends.
stuck in the muck, in the mire, still stuck trying to get my feet
Oh my
unstuck.
goodness.
So I think that was a lot of it. Like, when I'm all in, I'm just all in. And sometimes I should have, I didn't. When you do better, you do better. So we'll see what happens when God decides that it's time. We'll see how I act. But I have so many
Mhm.
buffers in place and so many safeguards in place for me now, with people that, I'm like, you got to meet this person, you got to talk to this person, you got to go through my big brother over here, you got to talk to my I have a spiritual dad. I'm like, you got to meet him. I have so many checkpoints that hopefully I'll get this thing right. So when somebody actually says, doesn't feel right, that I'll actually listen.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that's why it wasn't so much about the quantity as much as it was about the depths of pain. I think the pain, the suffering, and the disappointment, because not all of them were equal. Not all of them were the same, but it all had a lesson.
Right.
Something came out of it. There was a lesson to learn out of it. And I think sometimes, like you said, when we're just kind of coasting through life and we're just kind of moving through and not really living, just kind of life's happening, but we're not like really living and enjoying it. You
Mhm.
miss some stuff. You miss some things, like those flags and those I call it those whispers, those something, we say something said, something told me not to.
Right.
That is a real thing. And how much weight do we give to the I just had a thought. There was somebody else that didn't make the book. I didn't put him in the book. I made mention of him.
See? Look at that. See?
No, I made mention of him. um
Journal Joy, she got more to add to the book.
I guess she said, no, you don't.
I
uh
know. She
I
probably through with us.
made mention of this person when I share one of the experiences, because what happened with that situation out of what happened with that situation, and I can talk about it a little bit because it's not in the book. But what
Okay.
happened with that situation was that, I told you, I'm always waiting for somebody to rescue me. I was always waiting for a rescue.
Mhm.
And I was dealing with this guy. We weren't dating anymore, but I thought that we were friends to the point where, if when something happened to me, that I thought that he would be a safe place for me to go and lay my head, and not literally, but just as a support. And
Right.
I
I think
met
I know
this
what you're
guy.
talking about.
I met this guy. I knew his brother. I knew of his brother, and he worked on my car. There was attraction. I'm like, oh, he's attractive. I didn't. He wasn't from here. He's from he's from the islands, so he had a heavy accent, and I didn't understand half of what he was saying. But he was cute, and I had this thing for cute. I had this thing for fine. Fine gets you in trouble.
Mm-mm.
um, I'm still willing to take chances with that, but but
Yeah.
he was very attractive guy. Um, and so we started talking and conversing and stuff like that, and we, I was very clear, very firm, because at that time I was still interested for some odd reason with this other person, but yet he was not clear with me on whether or not he wanted to go back into a dating relationship. Mind you, this was a very toxic relationship, but yet I still needed to hold on to something. So at this time, this person's expressing an interest in me, and you're not over here. You're not expressing an interest. You're not, you act like you could care less one way or the other. So I'm gonna go where the attention is. But it turns out that after about a week or so, he was very demanding, very bossy, very domineering, which doesn't cut too well with my personality, because I'm like, I grew up around very strong personalities, and I'm not a zodiac person either, but
Mhm.
I'm born under the sign Cancer, and I grew up in a house with about 3 Taurus, the bulls, and these very dominant, strong personality
Yes,
people.
we are. Thank you very much.
And
Of course, as one who
so
does not do zodiac sign, but you are correct. That is how we
yeah,
do.
so and then my, my bestie growing up, same zodiac sign. So I mesh well, but they're very strong. So you have to learn how to assert yourself, and you got to learn how to clap back, or in my case, snap back. And
Mhm.
I went out with the guy, made it very clear um what the parameters were. And I think by then I was 30, I was 31. I think it was about 31. He was like 29.
Mhm.
And talk about something said. I decided that, I was driving out. I said, I'm going to park my car and we're going to ride. Anybody that knows DC subway system, we rode from Silver Spring to Shady Grove, which is the opposite end of the red line. It's a long ride. Because I figured that would give us more time to talk and everything. And he invited me to his house, his aunt's house. He lived with his aunt. And he invited me to his aunt's house. We watch a movie and whatever. So we go to the house. We before we get there, we're on the subway, and I made it very clear that, this is we're going to watch a movie. That's it. There is no more to that. Um he said okay, he agreed. My friend at the time, my girlfriend, she was she was getting on me because she was like, you should have just gone to the movie theater, you should have gone somewhere public, you shouldn't go to the house because you really don't know him like that. And I'm like, but I know his family, I know his brother, da da da. And we got to Shady Grove Metro Station, walked out of the station, and as we were coming out of the metro, I could hear something in my mind loudly say, go back. Go back. And then me as a people pleaser, I it was I heard it. I heard it. I felt it. I heard it, and I didn't listen. And so I proceeded because I'm like, well, I already said it, and I'm here now, and I'm doing all of this reasoning and rationalizing in my mind. And long story short, here to the aunt is not home. His room is in the basement of the house. And we go downstairs, and I'm thinking, okay, well, like my house, we had a family room. No. He opens the door to his bedroom, and there are, I can still remember leopard sheets, leopard bedspread, leopard. So I'm already like, my antennas are up, the hairs are probably standing up on my arms, and I'm like, you've messed up. You are completely messed up. And so literally the movie that I wanted to watch, that I thought we were going to watch something mutual, was not what he had in mind. Um but somehow the news ended up on the TV. But we had a wrestling match for about 45 minutes. Literally, it felt like a wrestling match. And then all of those things that come back to your remembrance, like my father telling me that, you never fight a man is stronger than you unless you absolutely have to, because he's physically stronger. And I thought, because I have a little weight on me, he was tall and slim, but I figured, oh, I can handle myself. It was very difficult, and I did everything short of just cry. But I was very calm, which was weird because I am a crybaby. I was very calm, but I'm like, everything in me was saying this could take a very bad turn. I intentionally wore pants, which I'm glad I wore pants. But this person um continued to wrestle with me, um wanting me to have sex with him, and I refused. And I was able to leave that situation, and it's kind of hard to talk about, and I don't want to go. into deep detail, but it was very humiliating, and I was very frustrated because I was very clear going there, telling him what I was and was not going to do.
Mhm.
And he just kept trying until he relieved himself. And I'm still, of course, fully clothed. And then he goes and he takes a shower. And then he comes back. And I just said, I want to go home. I'm ready to go home.
Mhm.
So we leave. And as we're walking back to where I had to catch the bus to go to the subway, he went into, there was a McDonald's there. And I called my friend. And she was on the phone. And she was like, well, where is he now? I was like, he went into the McDonald's. And she said, where are you? I said, I'm waiting for the bus. And it was just such a weird thing that I got in. He came out of the McDonald's. I was in the bushes. And he's looking around like, where did she go? I was literally hiding in the bushes
I remember you
because I
telling me.
didn't want him to see me. I wanted no more parts. I just wanted to be done. I, and then I saw him walk off. He went on. I guess he went back home. Um, and when I got to Shady Grove Metro Station, I took a cab from Shady Grove to Silver Spring. It cost me almost $40.
Mhm.
And when I got home, it's like when I walked through the door, it was when everything just kind of hit me, like what could have happened. And I was shaking and I was just a wreck. I was a
Right.
wreck. And I called this person that I thought would have kind of coaxed me or had my back, and he flipped it. He completely flipped it. Why did you go to his house? Women don't go to men's houses unless they want to have sex. I said, that's not true. We are full grown adults, and I made it very clear what I wanted to do and what I was not going to do. I actually said it. And, when we were walking back to the bus stop, he actually looked at me. The guy looked at me and said, "So you didn't want to have sex with me?" And I'm looking like, "Are you got to be crazy? You really got? Are you nuts?" But he was looking serious, and I'm like, "I said I told you that." And he called me one time after that, and I think it was just a temperature check to see what I would say, or if I would say anything to anybody, or if I would, if I was going to escalate it, or if it was going to go any further. And I didn't have anything else to say, and we never talked anymore from that
That's
day.
memorable enough that it could have been in the book, Tracy.
Uh it was kind of how I ended up going through this whole thing with the other person for a whole year. He kept bringing
Mhm.
it up. He kept bringing that up. That bothered him so much that I did that I went out with this person. But I'm like, you weren't interested in going back with me. I asked you, you weren't sure, but yet it bothers you now that I went out with somebody. Regardless of what happened or what didn't happen, I'm telling you what my intentions were, and you're still, you know, you're rejecting everything that I'm saying. And this went on, that was like September,
Mhm.
and then we had the argument in October the next year. So he used that as I don't know, it was like to weaponize or to demonize me. That, oh, Miss Perfect, little Miss Perfect, you're not so perfect. You made a mistake, and I think you did it on purpose. And it was just this antagonistic tone. And then that's how I don't want to give the rest of that away because that part's in the book, but that's
Mhm.
how that led up to that whole thing with him telling me, what that went on with him. So yeah, you gotta read the book.
Yeah. Read the book.
You gotta read the book to get the rest of that. But it turned out to be one thing that was really devastating that I couldn't really tell any and everybody because I actually, thank God, I was able to avoid a date rape situation.
Right.
Um when I had the opportunity maybe an hour before that to go back home. but being a people pleaser, and I'm trying not to disappoint somebody else that had only their own cares and concerns and no regard for my feelings. Clearly, I'm thinking about disappointing him and going back home when I could have saved myself a whole lot of grief. And not to mention the next day, the next few days, feeling like I had been in a car accident because I was literally sore from
Mhm.
wrestling with this person. Um, and it could have been violent. It could have been so much worse. So I'm grateful for that. But I was just very disappointed at how I thought that I would get support from somebody that called themselves my friend. We were still dealing with each other and still, communicating and all of that. I was shocked at how he treated me. And yeah. That was just that was tough. So I didn't put that in. I can't even remember his name. Um
That's okay. We don't say names. Good
no, but
too.
I mean I can't even remember his name. And I don't know if that was trauma. I don't know. I don't know. But I never talked to him anymore after that time. I got that one phone call and that was it. And I never looked back. Um, there are certain phone numbers that are just no longer in my phone. I don't block people typically. But there are some people that I don't even have their number and I hope they never find mine.
Wow.
But yeah, that's that yeah, those three. I stand corrected that yeah, it was three people that didn't make the book. Um
Well, I
so
think that's a good way to pause until our next show, where we'll talk a little bit more. I'm not sure if it's going to be before the book comes out or after the book comes out, but you all will have to stay tuned. How can people reach you, Tracy, if they're interested in contacting you?
Oh, they can reach me on social media. Most likely, I'm on Instagram or Facebook. Facebook by my name, Tracy M. Worley, and on Instagram, um, Tracy Monique, and
And
Tracy
what about?
and Tracy Monique.
Sorry,
Hmm.
sorry about that. Go on.
No, no, no. I just I clarified it. I am Tracy Monique. I changed my
Okay.
name. I have changed my name, so you'll
Yeah.
find me.
I can't find most of my friends because when I'm looking for them to tag them, they change their name. So hopefully y'all have better luck than me. What about the website?
My website is by tracym.com.
Okay.
By
BY.
Tracy by.
Okay. All right. So yeah, y'all check out her social media and also her um, website. For me, you can find me on youtube.com at One Singing Lady, and that's spelled out OneSingingLady. You can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at the number one, or numeral one, Singing Lady. So, number one, Singing Lady. And my website is www.lisalgilliam.com. All of my links to my social media pages are also on my website. You can also purchase music there or download music and poetry. And there will be a book link there soon. As soon as we get the link, that's going to be there as well so that you'll be able to do that. And you can book us. Tracy and I are interested in coming, to wherever you are to speak about the things that we've experienced, um, to also help people to not make some of the decisions or choices that we made, but to be honest about maybe even why we made them and how you can avoid some of those pitfalls. So
Absolutely.
until next time, is there anything you would like to say closing to the people?
No, just thank you, Lisa. Thank you for this opportunity to share on this platform, and I just appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship, and I just look forward to getting the feedback from the folks, from the people, all of the people, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I can take it.
You can. You
So
probably
just
can. I might be calling you crying because I'm an empath for real.
it's
You
all
know, I don't
good. It's all good. Yeah,
even
we learn from it, and that's the main
Absolutely.
thing. I want to be able to be a blessing to someone else, and I think that that's what's going to happen from this. I think that's what's going to outshine any negativity, if there is any. that the good will outweigh the bad for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, um, stay tuned. Hopefully, we'll get a book signing together soon. We've had extended time and still haven't had time to focus on that. My regular daily job as an educator, a non-classroom based educator, has kept me very busy, and I haven't had the opportunity to do what I need to do. But I'm gonna get on the ball with that because I know some people have said that they want signed copies and they want to come out. So we need to work on that one,
We'll
Tracy.
make it happen. Life is just happening to all of us, and yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Woo. I don't have enough hands for everything, but we're gonna make it happen. We're definitely gonna make it happen.
Sounds good. Well, thank you for joining me. And until next time, one singing lady out. Please note any comments made on this LLG Random But Real podcast by myself, Lisa One Singing Lady Gilliam, or my guests are our own views. They are not to be made or determine an actual professional or in lieu of an actual professional. If you relate to any of the topics, please seek professional help. Contact a therapist, a psychologist, any other mental health professional, or if it's an emergency, please call 911. Thank you so much for tuning in.